All right, it's showtime. So, over the past few years, we've been able to attract hundreds of clients. And during the beginning of my journey, it wasn't as easy or as simple to be able to do that. But what it allowed me, but what I figured out was how to change or alter certain things in terms of how I'm marketing and how I'm advertising the services and things of what we do. So that's what I'm going to be sharing today. So it's three big topics we're going to be covering, or two big topics we're going to be covering. One, how to charge top dollar without feeling salesy or like an imposter. Two, how to get high paying clients in a broke niche without changing your audience or lowering your prices. So we get a lot of people who ask different questions on these topics, and overall, the idea is being able to attract quality clients with the type of people that you want to help, and at the same time people are also willing to pay your prices. So that's what the theme of what today is. So what's good, my people? Good to see y'all. We here, we in the group. So see y'all. Shout out to everybody in the TCP group. Shout out to everybody that's on our school platform and our school community. And go ahead and yeah, let me know that you're here. Drop something in the comments and let me know that you are here and you're ready to learn. You're ready to grind. All right, so let's jump right into it. So, first thing, the how to charge top dollar without feeling salesy or like an imposter. So, first thing is, uh, one of the things that I had was I was feeling like I had imposter syndrome early on, and the reason is because I was initially trying to help people with things that I didn't necessarily have the expertise in. So when you really think about it, right, you have imposter syndrome when you're like, man, I don't really know, are they going to value it? Do they feel like it's worth it? Do they want to, do I think that they're going to pay for it? And we question ourselves. But if you actually know how to get the result of the thing that you're helping people with, then there's no need to feel imposter syndrome, right? Because you know you can get the result. So so your job is to help people with the things that you know you can help them with. Like one of the things when I started, I wasn't telling people that I can help them get clients. I wasn't even telling them I can help them make money. What I did, I said, first is I can help you put together these coaching programs. That's number one. I said I can help you put together these speeches, and I was like, yo, I can help you with that. Then once I got my groove with that and I started figuring out this content piece, I said, oh, okay, I could show you how to talk about your niche, use leveraging content, and how to leverage use the curriculums that you're putting together, and boom, you're gonna do that with the content. Then I went into then I started learning more about lead generation. I started learning about ads. I said, okay, let me focus on the ads piece of it. Started working with that, got good at that. Then I started teaching people with that. Boom. Then it was sales, and I started teaching people how to do strategy calls, how to do consultation calls, how to enroll high ticket clients. But all of that, it didn't start that way. So help people with what you can help them with, and you will feel confident in charging what you want to charge to your ideal clientele, right? Don't do don't do things that is don't do things that is out of the league of what you think you can help people with. Help people with what you help them with, because a big part of you being able to attract quality clients is going to be based on your confidence, right? They're not going to have more confidence than you. You're the coach, right? You're the person that they go into for guidance to learn how to go from where they're at to where they want to be. So you have to have the most confidence, and your confidence is going to be highest when you know that there's a result that you can help people achieve. So make sure that we have that. So that's just like the base level to this. Now, once you're confident in knowing what you can help people with, you're confident in like, okay, you know what, this is a good price. Which, by the way, I give you a quick pricing tip. I always look at charging people 10 times less than the value that I'm actually bringing to them. So write that down. Charge 10 times less than the actual value, right? So in real value, we've helped people really make 4 or 5 figures a month consistently. We've helped people do that. So guess what? If I say, okay, cool, I got, clients that I had that I made help make 100K in a year, then guess what? I would be justified in saying, oh, I can at least charge 10K for my services because they get 10 times the value. You see what I'm saying? So that's what makes you feel good. Like I feel good because what we charge, because you get way more value than what I'm actually charging. Right? When you don't feel like what you have is worth it, is where you're like, I don't know. That's when you start questioning yourself. But when you know something is way more valuable, you good, right? If you were selling a $500,000 Bentley for $5,000, you would not feel bad selling somebody a $500,000 Bentley for $5,000. You see what I'm saying? You wouldn't feel bad. Why you wouldn't feel bad? But you're still charging $5,000. It's still high ticket, right? Well, you don't feel bad is because you know that the value of what they're getting is way more than what they're actually paying. That's what makes this important. All right. So that's the key piece to this. Another thing, right, is let's go on to the second piece of this, which we talked about, is how to attract high paying clients in a broke niche without changing your audience, right? So here's the real thing. So this is something that we have to consider, right? So there's a few different areas, right? So one is, depending on what your niche is, it is important that you choose a niche that can pay you. So that's like the best case scenario, right? If you working with people who are, homeless, living under a bridge, barely got any money or credit cards, or it could be Section 8 or whatever, right? Like they don't have the money to give you. Then that's going to make it significantly harder for you to be able to make what you want to make per month, right? Because you're just the audience that you selected, just they don't have the funds, right? Like, I've seen people who want to help the youth. Okay, cool. Well, if you want to help teenagers, they're not going to be paying you thousands of dollars, right? So, you got that. Don't mean you don't help them. There's another way that I'm getting ready to tell you after this, to show you how to still impact those people. But the best case scenario is people who can actually afford it, right? Or I was talking to a lady recently, and she was like, I want to help people who've been, they just got let out of prison. And she's like, yeah, because I'm passionate about this, and I have, and I went to jail with family members and things of that nature. So she was passionate about helping them. I said, okay, that's great. I said, but the challenge is, if they just came home, it's going to be harder. They're not necessarily going to have the funds to be able to pay you on a consistent basis to work with you. So your goal is, when you're choosing a niche, and this is how you're going to get people who are going to pay your prices, and this is how you're going to get quality people. So be mindful in choosing the niche. This is why people talk about your ideal avatar, like specifically taking the time to write out exactly who you're working with or who you want to help. So that's that. Now, let's say you say, what, I really want to stick with this audience. Like, I really want to help them. So then what we do in that case is, you understand. And actually, I just taught part of this at a boot camp we just had, our PCS boot camp. And one of the things I mentioned is that there's a difference between your audience and your clients, right? Your audience and your clients is not necessarily the same thing, right? Your audience is the people that you're actually helping, right? That's the people that the knowledge that you've been able to come up with, your experience, your expertise, your education, that is who that is going to benefit. That is your audience. Your client is the people that's going to pay you, right? So, which is not necessarily the same thing. So, like, if you want to help the youth, okay, your audience is the youth, but your client might be the schools. It might be, the nonprofits, the the YMCA's, the organizations that have access, or they directly impact who your audience is, right? If you want to help people who are incarcerated, obviously you're going to the prisons, or you're going to the detention centers. People who just got let out. You might be, you might go to the halfway houses. You might go to, you see what I'm saying? Is like not necessarily directly them, but the organizations or the groups, they can actually pay you. But those are the people that are going to be your clients. You know what I'm saying? So when you get clear on that, then you can say, okay, I'm not necessarily going to go to them directly. I'm gonna go to these organizations, and then they're going to be the ones that's going to be able to cut the check. That is how you're going to find the ideal type of client that's going to be willing to pay for your services. So, but this is all pre-work, right? This is the work that we got to do ahead of time to make sure that you're impacting, the right people. I'll give you another tip on this from a marketing and advertising perspective, right? Who you're talking to is very important. So like as you do your tradings, you might be doing your videos, you might be doing your lives, your webinars, as you're putting out your content, you're running your ads, you have to make sure that the messaging of what you're actually saying is talking to the ideal client that you want to attract, right? So for example, I remember when I first started running ads, I was like, you know, are you like, this is one of my first ads. I said, are you broke, busted, and disgusted? Do you not have two pennies to rub to your name? Is there too much month at the end of the money? And I thought I was killing it. I'm like, yo, this is great. I'm like, yo, this is great, right? And then I started getting some people. I started getting people signing up, and I'm like, yo, this ad stuff is easy. Yo, I can put this out, right? This is my messaging. This is what I was saying in the videos, and this was also what I was, I was writing in a copy. And guess the type of people that I ended up speaking to on the phone. Guess people who were broke, busted, and disgusted, did not have two pennies that rub to their name, and it was too much month at the end of the money, right? So it was then that I realized, like, oh, you know what? I was like, yo, I really want to help people that want to make money, but the thing is like the messaging of what I'm saying is literally are going to be the type of people that I attract. So I might want to help people that make money, but I got to be specific if it's going to be entrepreneurs. I got to be specific and going to say, and I'll pepper in little things in terms of like my messaging, like, hey, you know what, are you working hard in your 9 to 5, but you have a bigger passion to build this business, but your business hasn't been making as much money, et cetera, et cetera. So that just that tweak and that messaging is going to bring in the right type of clients. You see what I'm saying? And so so if you've been finding that you've been speaking to people who haven't quite been able to afford your services, not really the ideal type of client, and it's frustrating you, I would actually look at the types of messages you've been putting out. Who have you been attracting? Right. And this could be organically. This is even in your normal content. If you put out YouTube content or you put out any type of content, I would actually go back and look at the trainings that you're doing. Look at the topics that you're talking about. Look at look at the examples that you're giving. Like really go back and just take some time to look through it, because everything that you put out is attracting a certain ideal client. And if it's not the type of person that you want to attract, you have to switch up your messaging and what you're saying and what you're writing, and you have to switch that up, because that is literally what that's attracting to people. You know what I'm saying? So when you do the things that we just outlined in this, quick recap, one, making sure that you're choosing a niche of people that you can actually help, right? So you have to be confident in that. And it might not be the biggest thing in the world. At first I almost didn't do this because I'm like, I got to be making 7 figures for me to be able to help somebody in business. You know what I mean? And then, then it was times where it was just like, yo, I'm going to help people, get clients and make money and do certain things that I wasn't at that level yet. You know what I'm saying? So it was certain things that I was like, but that was the reason why I felt imposter syndrome. So help people with what you can actually help them with. You know what I mean? That's really key. Also, getting those high paying clients is very important from a standpoint of, looking at your messaging, making sure that you're taking, whatever you're offering, they're getting 10 times more value than what they're paying for. And what you're putting out and what you're saying is attracting the actual person that you want to help, and getting clear on who your ideal client is, the difference between your audience and your client. When you put these things together, I can virtually guarantee that you're going to start attracting more quality people who can afford your services, and also is going to be the people that are going to be the most pleasurable with. Because even for us, just because you could swipe, you got a credit card and you can pay, that doesn't necessarily even mean that you're my ideal client. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's also a culture fit. We got a certain culture that we've created inside of our programs. You know what I mean? You also, and we also have like other criteria as well too. So, these other things is what creates a more quality type of clientele. But you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid to exclude people because you think, oh, I'm not going to be able to make money, or nobody's going to come to me, which is what a lot of people feel. It's like, yeah, and if I just say I'm talking to this person, I can help this person, then what about everybody else? The thing is, it's going to take you much longer. Even if you make more money in the short term, you'll actually lose longer in the long term, because the people that, if you're getting everybody, that means you're probably not getting good results for anybody. But if I know that, okay, this is my ideal clientele and I've created processes and systems to get them the best result possible, then I'm going to get way more testimonials. I'm going to get way more people that is going to say good things. I'm going to get way more referrals. I'm going to get so it seems counterintuitive that to niche down, you're going to make less money, but you actually will get more quality clients, better results, and more money when you niche down. And then as you get bigger, then you can widen the scope in terms of the people that you help. But if you do that, you will attract your quality clients. They will be able to afford what you have, and you will be able to grow your business. All right, helpful. All right, so let me know if this is helpful. Go ahead and drop some likes. Tell me what your biggest takeaway is. I'm curious to know. Also, if you want my help, I'm opening up my calendar for a few slots this week. So just go ahead and put Coach Me in the comments. Go ahead and drop Coach Me in the comments, and then I'll arrange a time to help you out. If you have any questions in terms of what you're going through, this is not a sales call. We actually don't even you actually have to be vetted before you come into the group. But if I do recommend and I do think you'll be helped by some support, then I'll let you know, hey, we can grab another time and set something up. But this is to see what you got going on, see what other questions you have, and to help you out, right? Because if you're seeing this, you're part of my community. All right. With that being said, be great, and remember, slow motion is better than no motion. Let's work.